Hello everyone, my name is Katie. I am the Introverted Reader. Happy Pride Month. Pride Month has officially started, but I am here to wrap up the month of May. Now, as you know, my challenge for the month of May, I challenged myself to only read manga and graphic novels and comics. So that's what I did. We have a lot to get through, so this is just gonna be rapid fire. Also, if you hear any noises, like outside noises, I have a window open here and a window open there because it's far too warm. Okay, so first and foremost, yes, I did only read manga and graphic novels this month, but there were a few books that I did manage to finish. A book that I'm still currently reading is You Will Get Through This Night by Daniel Howell, also known as, well, he used to be known as Dan Is Not On Fire on YouTube. He just goes by Daniel Howell now. This is his book on mental health. I haven't finished reading it. I have a little bit left. I'm listening to the audiobook, so I'll talk about this more in my wrap up at the end of this month. But I did manage to read and complete 3 books. So the first book that I read was on my Kindle, and it was King's Cage, book 3 in the Red Queen series. I gave it 4 stars. I really loved it. The next book that I read and completed was You're the One That I Want by Simon James Green. I have a review of this on my channel. I will link it down below for you. Simon himself also watched it, and now he follows me on Twitter. Like, we're friends now, that's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, yes, I have a review of this on my channel if you want to watch it. I gave this 5 stars. And I read and completed The Poppy War. I'm so proud of myself. I give this 5 stars. This was amazing. This was wonderful. If you want me to do a more in-depth review of this on my channel, just let me know down in the comments. I'll gladly do that for you. But this was amazing. 5 stars. Okay, so one of the graphic novels that I read this month was Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is basically the novel in graphic novel form. I was gonna carry on and read the series, but to be honest, I did feel a little bit burned out towards the end of the month, so I never did. But I did read this, and like, I love this. Like, the Infernal Devices is my favorite Cassandra Clare series ever, and it follows a girl called Tessa who comes to London looking for her brother, but she ends up kidnapped, and then she gets rescued by these 2 shadow hunters, and you know, the story goes from there. So I loved it. I think I gave this 4 stars. 4.5. The next 2 little mangas that I read was Death Note volumes 3 and 4. This is a bind up of volumes 3 and 4 in the black editions. I love Death Note. It's amazing. It's about this boy called Light Yagami, and he's an ace student. He's handsome. He has everything going for him, but then one day he finds this mysterious notebook, and it turns out to be a death note, and this death god, also known as a Shinigami, turns up in his bedroom and is basically like, yeah, we're bought now. That notebook is basically yours now. You're the master of this notebook. And basically he starts writing people's names in there, and people start dying, and he kind of turns into a power-hungry serial killer. And honestly, Light Yagami is one of the best antagonists that I've read from in such a long time. Like, I adore the way his mind works. Like, it's just insane. He's insane. But yeah, I love this. 4 stars for each of the volumes. The next manga that I read was Blue Morning. I actually only read volume 1, and then I didn't want to read anymore. I'm gonna unhaul this series. I just had some issues with it. I was bored. I wasn't feeling the relationship between the 2 guys, and to be honest, there is a major age gap between the 2 of them, and it's not specified how much older this man is than him, because he's only 17. So I don't know how much older this man is, what the age gap is between them. So it just made me uncomfortable. So we're gonna unhaul that. The next 2 volumes of manga that I read was He's My Only Vampire by Aya Shoto. Aya Shoto is also the author of The Demon Prince of Momochi House, which I think I read I was reading that series last year or the year before, but I really, really love that, and I love a good vampire romance. I do. This is about a girl called Kana, and she gets run over by a bus, and in order to save her, this guy who is a vampire bites her, but he doesn't turn her into a vampire. He turns her into a thrall, which basically is like an immortal being who is bound to a vampire, and the vampire is like their master. They are the vampire's food source, basically. Like, the vampire is only allowed to feed off of the thrall, and the thrall is only allowed to be bitten by that vampire. I know, it's a little bit confusing. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening in here too. But I was just there for the romance, really. It's very angsty, it's very, like, just cheesy and over the top, but I really liked it. And I gave these both 4 stars. The next lot of manga that I read was volumes 1 to 4 of Black Butler. Yes, this is the front of volume 4. This is the front of volume 1. So yeah, this is set in, I believe, Victorian London, and it's about this little boy who is called Ciel, Ciel, Ciel Phantom Hive, and his parents are dead. He's only like 11 years old, and he's like the earl of this household, and Sebastian is his butler, and they are bound together, and Sebastian is honor bound to serve him for forever, basically. I can't really tell you why, because that would be a spoiler, but like, I really enjoyed this. I really am enjoying this series a lot, and I give each of these volumes 4 stars. Again, if you want me to do more in-depth reviews on any of these, just leave a comment and let me know. I'm just going through these quickly because there's a lot. The next few things that I read was 2 comic books, and it was volumes 3 and 4 of Fence. Now, this story in a nutshell, it's a gay love story set in a fencing school. And if that hasn't sold you, I don't know what will. I don't know anything about fencing at all. A lot of the terminology completely went over my head, but I love these characters. I love their dynamics. I love their friendship, how they're like there for each other as a team. That is what I'm here for, teamwork. But yeah, what's the crack with this series? Like, are they continuing on with single issues like this? Is it just electronically? Can I buy a bind up? Like, someone with a little bit more brains than me, let me know what the crack is with this series. Like, what's going on? But anyway, I give each of these 4 stars. I'm really loving this series. Okay. The next graphic novel that I read was Heartstopper Volume 4. Oh my goodness. I love Heartstopper so much. It's so sweet. It's about these 2 boys called Nick and Charlie. It's by Alice Oseman, if you didn't know. Obviously you knew. But anyway, it's about these 2 boys called Nick and Charlie and just their relationship. This one focuses a lot on mental health and eating disorders. So if talking about those things is a trigger for you, I would be very wary before picking this up, because it goes a lot in depth about Charlie and his struggles, and Nick as well. And there's this lovely conversation that, without giving too much context, Nick wants to be able to help Charlie, but he doesn't know how. And he's like, he says to his mom, he's like, how do I fix it? And his mom says, you can't fix it. Like, you can't fix a person. It's not your job. Like, he needs you to love him and support him, but you know, you're not a doctor, you can't fix him. Like, he needs to go to see a professional, he needs help, but like, all you can do is let him know that you're there and let him know that you love him. And I honestly got teared up at that part, honestly. I mean, without giving too much context, I was like, oh. But yes, be wary of trigger warnings for eating disorders and mental health in here. Also, the Poppy War, I forgot to mention this. The Poppy War. Be wary of any and all trigger warnings in the Poppy War, okay? Look them up. Do not go into that book blind, please. That is my TED Talk for today. Anyway, the next thing that I read was a comic book, and I read Black Panther, Avengers of the New World, Book 1. So this is a little bit complicated, but basically in a nutshell, there's like kind of like this spiritual war going on. Things are happening around Wakanda, and T'Challa is basically kind of thinking like, where are our gods? Like, where are the spiritual beings that are supposed to be helping us when Wakanda's struggling? And there's a whole bunch of other things happening too. But yeah, can I just ask a question? To anybody, is this Storm? Like, am I just a dumbass? This is Storm, right? Like X-Men Storm? Or is there another version of her? Like, someone enlighten me. Like, she is Storm, right? Like, this is, I'm not, I know that's real, I know that sounds like a dumbass question, but like, that is Storm. Like, X-Men Storm, right? I'm not an idiot. Anyway, that sounded like an idiotic question, but like, someone educate me, please. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. I think there's, I think it is a series, obviously. But yes, I gave this 4 stars. I had a good time. Okay, the next little comic book that I read was Nightmare Before Christmas. This is basically just the movie in comic book form, and anyone that knows me knows that I'm obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. I adore the art style in here. Hold on, let me... Oh, here. Like, I adore the art style in here. It's so... Like, it's just, like, dark and creepy and just, like, oh, I love it. So I gave this 5 stars. Oh, and I give Heartstopper 5 stars as well. So, a lot of 4 stars and a lot of 5 stars happening here. Like, I'm really, really happy. And the next lot of comics that I read were, let me lift them, all the Avatar comics. All the Avatar comics. I read Avatar The Rift. This is a bind-up of 3. So, that was my mom. She's a way to pick up my sister. I'm not gonna stop filming. Anyway, I read Avatar The Rift. This is a bind up of the next 3 comics in the Avatar comic world. Didn't expect my mommy to be shouting at me there, but sure. Anyway, the next slot I read was Smoke and Shadow. I gave this 5 stars, by the way. And I give this 5 stars as well. This was incredible. I think this one might be my favorite. And not just because Zuko's on the front. Maybe because it is Zuko on the front. Maybe I'm biased. I don't care. But anyway. Yes. Smoke and Shadow, 5 stars. And the next lot of Avatar comics that I read was North and South. Which again I gave 5 stars. Like, I just want all the Avatar content. Like... all of the Avatar content. Like, please give me all the Avatar content, please. Like, I love it so much. I love Avatar. And I am planning to do an Avatar themed video on my channel soon. When it's going to happen, I don't know. What I'm even going to do, I don't know. But, you know, just keep your eyes out for that. So anyway, that... Oh, I need a drink. That... is my wrap up for the month of May. Again, if you want me to do any more in-depth reviews on anything that I've mentioned, leave a comment letting me know. My review for You're the One That I Want will be down below, along with my TBR for June. If you're watching this in the future, that will be linked down below as well. I'm gonna film that right after this. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And from me and my mom, we wish you a good day. My Twitter, Instagram down below, always. Thank you so much. Goodbye.